Hello guys, so I have just finished cleaning a house. Yeah, if you don't know already, I'm a cleaner. So anyway, I figured now that, I'm in a quiet house, I could film a video. So this video is totally different from my normal kind of videos. I don't really speak about this very much because it's just like, um, I guess not like a popular subject, but I watched a couple videos recently and decided that I really wanted to make my own. So this video is about what it is like suffering with migraine. Now migraine is a condition. It's not just a one-off migraine. It is a condition where you will have migraines all the time and they are pretty debilitating. Um, so I just wanted to kind of make make a video to raise awareness as to, you know, my personal experience with migraine and what it can be like for people. So I guess I'll give like a little bit of back history. Um, I never really found a cause, like a clear reason as to why I'm so unlucky. But anyway, I'll give you the backstory. So I first started getting really bad headaches around 4 or 5 years old. I remember kind of coming home from school, sitting in the kitchen, crawling onto the floor like into a ball, and I would slide myself into like the very corner of the kitchen, like sitting against the cupboards, where I keep plates and bowls and stuff. And just thinking like how bad my head hurt. And my parents were obviously quite worried, but I don't think they really wanted to tell me because they didn't want to give me any cause for concern. But I started having investigation, I think sorry, I've got a cold, like soon after. And yeah, basically ever since I was like 5, I've been suffering. I would get headaches all the time as a kid, migraines as well, but they weren't, I would say, like to the extent that they are now. I'm grown up. Um, and basically, yeah, I saw multiple neurologists. I tried amitriptyline when I was, I think, 17. And yeah, basically, once I got my period, my migraines became a lot more severe and I started suffering from hormonal migraines. And it just really, really made things hard for me going to school, going to parties, seeing friends, because it felt like these migraines would just always land on the worst possible day. It would be like my birthday or a friend's birthday, and I'd be invited somewhere and I just couldn't go. Um, I'm really sorry, I have to keep blowing my nose. And I don't know, it was just so. It felt very isolating. It felt like no one else knew what I was going through. People would be like, oh, I've had a headache. I know what a headache's like. But this isn't like a headache. It is the worst possible pain, and it feels like it's all consuming, and it stops you from being able to function and do normal daily activities, because your head is like what controls everything. So when your head hurts to such an extent, it kind of impairs your cognitive abilities and it stops you from being able to just do basic tasks. Um, and especially now I have kids, it's very, very difficult to cope with because I can't just go lay in a dark room. I can't just go to sleep. I have to take care of them, and yeah, it's very frustrating. Um, and I haven't really got anywhere, but I do have some small tips and tricks that I have noticed have sort of helped me along the way. Um, so for me personally, I've had 2 C-sections, both of which I basically just took paracetamol for. So with my first C-section, I was prescribed hydrocodone and it made me hallucinate. So I stopped that by like day 2 of my recovery and was just taking paracetamol. Then going into the second C-section, I also decided to only take paracetamol and no opiates or anything. And this is basically paracetamol is the same as Tylenol if you're American. And so to be able to go through 2 major abdominal surgeries, cutting through 7 layers of skin, having a baby torn out of me, and bleeding for weeks afterwards, I can tell you that this migraine is 1 million times worse. These migraines, these headaches, I would rather have 100 cesareans in one day than go through these. It far supersedes the pain of surgery for me. And you know, I get very, very painful periods. I did go into labour with my first child, and yeah, this is just a hell of a lot worse. It feels for me like I have a knife that's been pushed into my head and is slowly twisting just in slow motion for hours on end. And when I bend, stand, or move position, the pain is so blinding that my whole face will scrunch up, and I'll hold onto my head because it feels like it's about to explode. It hurts so bad. And I find that if I cough or I sneeze or just go into the bathroom with these migraines, it is just excruciating. And again, I will just be holding my head, trying to like hold my own head together because it feels like it's breaking open. So I also very often with my migraines get nausea. I've sometimes even had vomiting because they get so bad. And especially I've noticed that if I go in a car with a migraine, it's just not a good time. I will immediately get sick and just feel really bad. I also am very light sensitive, even on the normal days where I don't have migraines. I find that, I'm really sorry, I hate having a cold and filming, but I find, yeah, even on the normal days where I don't have a migraine, just bright lights, white lights especially, overhead lights like they have in malls and big shops, they can trigger migraines very quickly. They hurt, they make me feel sick. Sunlight makes me feel unwell. I have to wear sunglasses all the time when it's sunny outside. And yeah, when I have these migraines especially, I'm very, very light sensitive, very sound sensitive, and I can't really focus on reading or watching anything. A lot of people are like, oh, I have a headache, I'm just gonna go lay in bed and watch a show. Like, I can't. And it feels like the only thing that I can do is focus on existing in that moment. And apparently migraines are such a problem that apparently half of migraine sufferers suffer with thoughts of suicide because they are so bad that they consider not living anymore. And I can say from personal experience that I do get to a point with my migraines where I would just rather be dead than have to continue in that level of pain. And I very often feel that I will wake up with them, I'll get them in the middle of the night, and then I'll find it very hard to get back to sleep because I'm in so much pain. Yeah, it's really hard. I have noticed that when I have a lot of caffeine, it's a lot worse. So I cut out coffee from my lifestyle. I now have decaf coffee, and the most caffeine that I have is a black tea or a Diet Coke, because I found that anything more than that would start triggering a pattern of migraines. I am also starting to notice a pattern with dark chocolate, very, very dark chocolate. And so I am trying to kind of figure that one out. It is a shame because I do like chocolate a lot, but I am seeing that, and dark alcohol like red wine and stuff really triggers me. And I try not to actually drink alcohol, rarely ever. If I have it, it's kind of like with friends or just to chill out. But I never buy alcohol for my own house. I never drink by myself at my house or anything like that. So the things that I found have been very helpful are electrolytes. I have found very helpful. When I have these migraines, I will tell you basically my the system I follow. So if I wake up with a migraine, immediately take painkillers, paracetamol, so Tylenol. I do not take ibuprofen. It doesn't work with me. It causes me stomach problems. So yeah, I immediately take 500 milligrams of paracetamol. I use a menthol rub, so I use either a forehead or it's called Tiger Balm, which I bought at a health food store, and I slather my temples and my whole forehead with it till it's like my eyes are watering. I also buy these migraine patches that you can put in the freezer or the fridge. They have like essential oils and stuff in, and it smells good and it's really cold. So I will just stick one of those on my head. And sometimes I also alternate with using a heated eye mask, so heat treatments. So I have like this eye mask like with microwavable beads, and I will microwave it till it's like really, really hot, and then lay it over my eyes and lay down with that. I also will usually try to have a little bit of caffeine when I have a migraine, so like a black tea or a Diet Coke, because migraines, I believe, are the blood vessels in your brain start contracting. So when you have caffeine, it helps to dilate those blood vessels, which can help with a migraine sometimes. So yeah, then I'll have like an electrolyte sachet. I also try to have peppermint tea sometimes because that can also help, and especially if you're having nausea as a side effect. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I try to kind of diffuse essential oils, things like that are calming. I try to do meditation and yoga when I have a migraine if I can manage, just to like focus on my breath, try to increase oxygen. And you know, sometimes migraines can be triggered by things like muscle tension in the neck that radiates up into the head. So I try to really focus on like stretches with my neck and my head and temple massages. Also I try to force food in, like carbs, bread, salt, sometimes a little bit of sugar. I find like sugar, carbs and salt, like all three, try to get those in. That can definitely help. And obviously if you can lay in a dark room and try to sleep, then that's obviously the best thing you can do, but that's just not always possible. But yeah, I have had an MRI. I've been through multiple neurologists. I have done everything I can, and there is no like brain abnormality that's coming up. So yeah, basically it's just like an invisible illness that's very limiting. And yeah, if anybody else goes through this, you know, I'm here for you. I understand what it's like. It's horrible. It makes nothing enjoyable when your head hurts. You just can't take any joy out of anything. And yeah, this is something that I deal with a lot, especially the week before my period. I will have migraines for like 3 to 4 days in a row often, and it just makes everything really, really hard. Yeah, I find that mine are very, very strongly hormonally driven, unfortunately, but I don't take birth control because birth control gave me worse migraines. So, yeah, it is hard. I did try taking amitriptyline for a while, and that really, really helped. And then the doctor said that it was addictive and that I wasn't allowed to stay on it, and that I had to wean off very, very slowly. So I did wean off very slowly, and then I woke up with the worst headache of my life, and I started vomiting continuously. And when I say continuously, I mean continuously, to the point where I had to crawl all across the floor to my mum's bedroom when I was 17, beg her to like get me an ambulance because I felt that I was going to die. And then when the ambulance came and lifted me down the stairs into the ambulance, I vomited the whole way down the stairs, the whole way into the ambulance. And yeah, we had called the doctor, and the doctor said that the symptoms I was having were so concerning. They were worried that I had a brain tumour and that I needed to get scanned immediately. But obviously when I got to the hospital, they said that they were prioritising people with like paralysis and spinal injuries. So I ended up having to go for a referral, and I went for an open MRI because I'm really claustrophobic. And yeah, basically they didn't find anything. and no doctors can really help. And so it's really just like a situation where I've been trying to help myself and trying to support myself and find ways to cope. But yeah, all I can say is stay hydrated, focus on what you're putting in your body, maybe make a migraine diary so you can work out your triggers, like write the hours of sleep before, what you ate the day before, what you drank the day before, and you might find a pattern and might find triggers. And also write down the things you do to try to help it and see like what helps and what doesn't help. So yeah, if anybody out there is also suffering from really bad migraines, I'm here and I understand, and it is hell.